What's good, everybody? My name is Joshua McLean, and welcome to the Sew Rogan Experience. Hey, we are back. Episode something. I said it a few episodes ago. I'm the worst at this. I will not be able to keep track. So every episode is awesome. And I'm just so thrilled that you guys are responding the way that you're responding. I was doing this for many different reasons, but the main reason was to get the conversation started about what's happening in the sewing industry and how we reach other people and do other people know about us. And so far, you guys have just been amazing with the response. And so thank you, thank you, thank you. My next guest is, I'm going to switch it up on you guys, all right? He's the Solar Avenger is who he is. But we're going to find out. I am pretty certain. I've known Thaddeus for a little bit now. I'm pretty sure he is not a sewer in his secret life. We're going to ask him. So I'm switching it up by bringing somebody who's not an expert in the sewing industry to chat with us. So I'm going to bring you on, Thaddeus, my man.
Hey, what's going on, brother? Thank you for having me.
The Solar Avenger is a secret sewer. Is this breaking news? No? Yes?
Well, not to the level of sewing that you would think.
Okay.
But I am the sewer of my house. So we're talking like sewing of buttons back into place, that sort of thing. Like, if anything needs sewing,
counts, dude.
Yes. So my wife will bring it to me if it needs sewing or anything like that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm normally way outnumbered in this industry. So
oh yeah,
I'm gonna take you to. You're on my team, dude. We're good. Hey,
Yeah.
What does it take to be on the sewing team of Sew Rogan? Can you sew a button on? Okay.
I can do that.
Right on.
I've been sewing since I was young.
Awesome. Well, I was
kind of interested. Yeah.
Here's the thing. It used to be, it still is, an appliance. Like, it was a skill that people had to fix things around the house and to make clothes.
Yeah.
And that's changed quite a bit. So I'm not surprised at all that you say that you know how to sew, to be honest with you.
Really?
No.
You just naturally see that in my eyes.
100%. I assume that you embroidered your is that a sweater? No.
Yeah. No, I didn't do this.
Fair enough. At least you're honest.
Yeah.
All right. So, you know what? Actually, I'm not going to. You sent me a wonderful bio, but I'd rather just. Could you introduce yourself to your?
Sure. So I'm originally from St. Louis. For those people that don't know, do a lot with social media now, but I kind of popped out of nowhere, which is kind of cool because when you move to a new place, you really have the opportunity to reinvent yourself, and that's essentially what I did. I don't have a background in social media. I was in law enforcement for 12 years. And in law enforcement, no one was on social media to the level which I'm on social media now. It was dangerous in St. Louis, Missouri at that.
Sure.
And yeah, so I've done some interesting things in my career. I've seen enough that I have no desire to be back in law enforcement. I came here and I eventually fell in love with solar. And solar was really a way in which I could start helping people and kind of giving back. And social media just kind of went in tandem with it. And that's kind of how I'm known, the Solar Avenger.
So
yeah, pretty much.
Well, so Thaddeus Smith is your your name, even though you're calling it the Solar Avenger. Solar Avenger across all social media platforms.
That's right.
You're right, man. You did just kind of pop up because you know what? You started putting in the work and you found your niche. I never know which one's right, but you know what I mean? You found your lane, both, right? And and you're good at it, man. But your main thing is you have fun with it, sure. Like I enjoy, you put some humor to it because you're enjoying it, but you've been trying to help other people, promote other people, and it's clear, you're good at it, but also you enjoy it.
Yeah, so no, I agree. My thing is, if you're not helping other people, like, yeah, you can make a profit, but at the end of the day, what brings you the most joy? And if you can marry those two things together, profit and just helping somebody, that's beautiful.
That is beautiful. Absolutely. And you're one of the conversations that I've had with people in the sewing industry has been a lot about where's the future of the sewing industry going, and are people embracing technology? You are. I am, because let's
Mhm.
face it, we live in the future, and if you don't, I feel like you're going to get left behind. But also, hey, you know what? Embrace it, enjoy it, like use it to your advantage. Have
Yeah, no,
fun.
absolutely. No, absolutely. And like for me, one of the things that you were asking about in kind of the bio was how does solar and sewing go together? And I believe it's
Yeah.
a lot to do with independence, like people being able to control something that's uniquely theirs.
I
You know,
love that.
they're not subservient to a certain clothing brand or anything like that. They can make something that's unique and it's theirs. They can call it theirs. So,
Absolutely. I love that. And you know what?
yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Now, to be fair, I don't know. I've known a couple people that were in the solar industry. No one
Mhm.
is as passionate and take well. I mean, I'm being sincere, but no
Yeah,
one
yeah,
looks at it the way you look at it, and it's
yeah.
cool. It is
I
cool.
appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so what's funny is my first questions were, "What do you do for a living?" So we check. I said, "Have you ever sewn anything?" Yes. Then, just in case you said no, have you ever used a sewing machine? Yes. But in case you said no, I said, "Have you ever seen a sewing machine?" Okay.
That's funny. I
Doing
actually just
good.
saw one today. I
Yeah.
was at Walmart. I saw one, the cheaper ones, like $150. Brother, I think, is one.
Yep.
Actually, and on my bio sheet I sent over, I said I had an interesting story because
Let's hear
in
it.
yeah. So high school, I took home ec, and I don't even know if that exists anymore for this generation.
They're taking it out for real.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So one of the portions of the class was sewing, which cool.
Yeah.
But what you didn't know is I used to be a break dancer, and yes.
Ayo. I was big time into popping, man.
Oh,
Ayo.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was more of a like a ground, spinning that sort of
Yeah.
thing.
You're strong enough to do that. I didn't have the muscles, man. That's
Well,
awesome.
I only had one move though. so once I
Was it
so
the
once I
windmill?
did it, no,
Yeah.
it was similar to the windmill. It's called a coin drop.
Okay.
Uh,
Still
so
cool. Still cool.
yeah, you can start it from standing and you just like jump into it.
Yep.
But technically, you should be able to continue. So as if it were a windmill, but I couldn't. I can only do one and done. So I have to save that for like the grand finale.
But the beauty of like breakdancing, especially floor work, man, is if you throw in
uh,
a sick pose at the end, it
yeah,
was all intentional. So
that's
even if you
true.
do one, you're like, hey, done.
Yeah, it's the cockiness of it too. Like
Totally.
person cannot they can do something that wasn't that good, but if they create a pose that makes exactly
Yep.
like they're confident
Oh,
like
he's
yeah
cold.
exactly. So the audience is gonna be like, oh, that was good then because look how confident he is.
Man, he's super excited with his performance. I guess it was
Yeah. But no, in high school, I was on. We created this breakdancing club actually,
cool.
and I was in home ec at the time and doing sewing stuff, and it didn't turn out very good. But I tried to make myself like a bandana. It looked
Oh,
terrible. I like the glue and stuff because my breakdancing name was Psych, Sike. It
psych.
looked terrible. Yes, it looked terrible. But I have it. Well, I don't have it anymore. But
Well, yeah, because it
that
was
was
glue. You didn't sew anything. You just glued it.
no. I sewed the ends and like I used a sewing machine. Actually, I did.
Oh,
I used
fair
a
enough.
sewing machine, and but that was the only thing I remember sewing. Like I should have done something cooler, like a pattern or something. But I
Dude, I
tried to
don't
do
know if
something
there's
for
much cooler
breakdancing.
than a bandana on a b-boy. I mean, I think in psych, that's hilarious because I'm an 80s kid. So, like, my son knows the word psych because I've taught him that. But as a
Yeah,
b-boy, it's like, I can't tell if that's ironic or not. Like, don't move, psych. You know,
yeah. It's true. That's true. You
that's great.
know, my wife has only seen me breakdance once or twice, actually. Yeah, I pulled it out at our wedding.
Of
Uh,
course you did. Of
yeah,
course.
yeah, yeah. I did the worm and stuff. Well, it wasn't my fault though. It was my nephew's fault. He started breakdancing, but he could only do the worm backwards. So I'm like, dude, like I got to show this kid what's up. And so I get in there and I start doing it forwards, you know. And then he's like, oh, and my brother, who's my best man, he's like, oh, he's spinning his napkin and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I got to give him some more. So I do my my power move, my coin drop, and
your coin drop.
and then that was it. So
at least you won the battle against the 8-year-old. Congratulations.
That is true. Like you got to show these kids early. Like this is a soft generation. I got to do my part.
No, you're doing it right. That's awesome. Yeah, dude. I ran a hip hop. We're gonna detour. I knew. See, this is me and you. I knew it. Like I was gonna talk about a hip hop night that I used to DJ. Anyway, all right,
dude.
That's really cool about the hip hop, about the breakdancing, though, man. I still watch any b-boy video I can find because the stuff they're doing now. You're going, whoa, how is their body doing that? It's insane. All right,
yeah.
So breakdancing is cool, solar is cool, sewing is cool. So we're just cool dudes.
Yes.
Okay, let me get to an actual question here. So, in your industry, how important is it to be creative?
Super important.
How so?
So, I would say you got to think about how many people are in the industry. So, if you compare it to like realtors, you throw a nickel and you hit 20 of them. I mean, you hit at least 5 of them, right?
Right.
So as a solarpreneur, so to speak, I have to be different because there's so many people out there doing what I do. We have the same product. We do. At the end of the day, all these different companies, they want to speak to, oh, I got the best this. We all have the same access to everything that the other companies have. So what is it at the end of the day? People are buying your personality. They like, know, trust you. And that's really what it comes down to. And so for me, creativity comes through social media, making videos, making myself personable, because Palm Coast specifically is an older town, you know, and so
Florida is an older town.
That is true. So if I can just lean into the educational component instead of like the hard, you know, you're going to buy the solar, you know, if I can do that, that really differentiates me as a solarpreneur.
Well, man, absolutely. And so I had this question kind of not geared specifically for you, but as I was reading the options, I had a bunch of questions. I was like, oh, this is perfect, because if you didn't know the answer, I was going to answer it for you. And it is 100% what you just said. The fact that you have an alter ego, it's not an alter ego, a character, what do you want to call it? You're a superhero, a Solar Avenger. Like that is
it's recognizable.
I mean, right. And I guarantee you right now, and I think I've told you this before, no other solar salespeople have a superhero.
Nope.
You know what I mean? So that's awesome. And that's super creative. And it's neat to see even something like, and this is no disrespect, something for what I thought was really cut and dry solar sales. You're still able to make it creative.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. And for me, like I've gone places and they're like, oh, it's the Solar Avenger, which is cool. It strokes my ego a little bit, but it's cool because it's easy to remember. People might remember the Solar Avenger before they remember my name, actually. So I just that was the main reason. Plus, I love comics, so yeah.
Well, it works. Well, and Sew Rogan, right? So I get called Jason once a day. And no offense if you're any of those people listening that call me Jason. I'm like, it's Josh, but Jay, close enough. Joe Rogan is so easy to remember. And just to make it very, very clear, I am not Sew Rogan because I love Joe Rogan. Just FYI, it was just a really clever, in my mind, play on words. It's quite the opposite, actually. So, but you're right. Having fun with it is, in whatever industry you're in, you should do exactly what you're doing and make it your own and find a way to be unique and memorable.
Yeah, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, if you're not passionate about what you're doing, it shows. You know, and people are drawn to that energy. That's really what it's about. If you can find some way to push that energy out through what you do, people are drawn to that, and they're gonna attract. You're gonna attract those people, and they're gonna want to be, you know, doing stuff with you. So, and that's what I found. Yeah,
absolutely. So let me switch gears to the sewing industry just a little bit. Like you've been in my
Absolutely.
shop.
Hmm.
Uh, outside of just we have our meetings here, and you've been in the shop, and what little we've talked about sewing. How much do you actually know about the sewing industry? And brutally honest, please.
Yeah, I don't know much about the industry. Just what you said, just my background a little bit in high school, and then continuous fixing of things, whatnot. But not anything about like the industry, the revenue or anything like that. Yeah.
Well, right. So, well, I'll tell you right now, it's probably $1 billion industry, multi-billion-dollar
Wow.
industry. So it's booming. But I
Mhm.
think maybe let me switch. Were you surprised when you walked into my shop and saw what a modern quilt shop is like?
Yeah, I feel like I was, yeah, because it's like the funky colors, the bright colors. It's pretty cool actually for anybody who's not been in your shop. It's pretty cool. I dug it.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. And I wasn't looking for a. I'll take it though. Thank you for the compliment.
You
But
pay me
no,
later though.
yeah, you got it. You're not supposed to say that on the thing. Wait till I say it like that. But so I am fishing a little bit because what I see from most people who I've met in other, whether it's through networking or whatever, they walked in the wrong door. they
Mm,
uh they go, wait, whoa, like there's this much sewing machine, like sewing happening, and oh my god, there's skulls on that fabric. There's superheroes on that. Like fabric has come a long way, and people I think are just. I'm assuming, and you tell me if I'm wrong. People are very surprised of you kind of said it how cool a quilt shop can be.
yeah, no, absolutely. I
Yeah.
think there's something unique about it. Like I was saying, kind of in our introduction, like
Mhm.
there's something where a person who wants to be different or
Mhm.
who values some type of uniqueness, you can't find that in clothing outside of creating your own.
Yeah.
And for that person, they need to explore sewing because then they can truly create something that's unique, and they don't have to be subservient to clothing companies where they're just being charged whatever price it is. So
Yep.
I,
And
I
oh, go ahead.
your shop is super inviting for anyone. Yeah.
Well, that is the goal. But and then so even same thing. So I love that you take it to the garment world because I think part of our goal, my goal with this podcast, is to reach a younger demographic, and they are
Mhm.
interested. It seems like a little bit more in the clothing side of things than quilting per se. But then again, they don't realize that nowadays quilts are art. So the same way
Yeah.
people are being creative and making their own garments,
Hmm.
the quilters that are here are creative because they're making their own art, and
Yeah.
fabric is just cool and funky now, you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
definitely a different type of industry than it used to be. And most people, when I say quilt shop specifically, they do picture their grandma, and
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. It's just that's their connection.
Yeah.
So I always kind of watch people's faces when they come in, and I might be a broken record on here, but I'm pretty sure it was Luther once that said when he came in, he's like, "It looks like a rainbow threw up in here," and I was like, "Dude, that's a compliment. I'm gonna take it."
that
You know what I mean?
that is definitely. Now, I have a question as it relates to that.
Sure.
So yes, the quotes are definitely art. Have you noticed anything with like the young people in their clothing? How they're trying to make them into like wearable art? Have you noticed anything like that?
Absolutely. In fact, the youngest people that come in here, and they don't come in here often enough,
Hmm.
they have probably 90% of them have gone to Goodwill or a thrift store, found an old something and chopped it up, and they're making it funky and they're making it their own because they want it to be a unique piece of art that is describing their personality and who they are. So it's absolutely kind of their image. Well, I guess image is the right word, but you know what I mean. They're trying to be unique and
Yeah,
different by
yeah,
wearing something. We used to shoot. You probably had the same thing when we went to school. We were like, I want a pair of Jordans because that's what everybody else is wearing because that's dope. Now,
yeah, yeah,
shoes, sneakerheads are still kind of there, but nowadays I see the younger generation going like, no, I want to make my own whatever because nobody else is going to have it,
yeah. That's cool.
and that is
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
We said
Or
we
at
said
least,
the word cool a lot, by the way, because I think
oh,
people.
it's. I think it's another way to describe things that are awesome.
I
Sometimes you
agree.
just have to pull out the cool. But it's just like Converse. You know how you can make your own Converse on their site and stuff. That's pretty cool. That
It's
is pretty
very
cool.
cool.
It's
I'm gonna
unique.
switch the word cool to rad. I used to say rad all the
It's
time, and
rad.
then people made fun of me, and
Yeah.
I was like, come on, I don't care. It's rad. Well, so I'm that way with vans. I'm a big
Yeah,
van guy. So I go to the outlet and I'm like, what do you have in the back that has skulls or flowers? So, like,
yeah, like the total opposite ends, like
yeah.
skulls or flowers.
And then they brought out a pair that had both, and I was like, oh,
That's the one. Definitely, you had to buy them. Like if they told you it was $200, I have to buy them.
I gotta buy them.
I gotta buy them.
That's right.
Now, I'm curious. Like, have you seen? I'm thinking like the '80s style shirts and stuff. How like the arm sleeve would be a different pattern than like this section. Have anybody been doing anything like that in recent times? Like,
I haven't. Well, I've seen that stuff on TikTok, like, and it's
oh, okay.
It's cool. It's super cool. But mainly, I see a lot of kids wearing pants that are split colors. Like
Oh, okay.
one side is one side's jeans, the other side's whatever, and different pattern, different color. And I'm like, that's cool. And then if they're smart, they'll wear the shirt where the colors are switched, so then it looks like.
Oh, that's cool.
And then they go and make their own pair of Converse that match. And then,
oh, that's perfect. That's dope.
Then they're fresh and like nobody can touch it. They're like, this is my own, you know? You know, I'm not wearing my hat, and thank you for not saying, "Where's your hat?"
I normally do.
I'm gonna call out Brad Ward here, but I wear that hat because I like the way that Kangol's look on me, and it's the only size that fits me. Also, it kind of became my identity, you know.
Yeah.
But the problem is when I don't wear one, people are like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, so you know, everybody. It's good to find the thing that makes you feel good, and it allows you to express yourself. So I hope more kids or just people are going to start doing that with clothing.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. Okay, so I think I knew I have a bazillion questions for you, but I think what I kind of want to end this on is how can my sewing community, because that's who's going to listen to this for the most part, at least to start off with, until we can spread it around to your folks and hopefully make everybody aware of both of us. But how can people find you, or what do you have that's coming up maybe that you'd like to take this opportunity to promote, talk about, if anything?
I have some kind of cool things in the works. So yeah, I don't just do solar. People always ask me what I do, and it's so hard.
What do you do?
I'm like, I do solar and other things and everything. I don't know.
Do you actually work, or do you just make TikTok videos all day?
Yeah, actually, it's kind of interesting. So I don't actually browse TikTok. A lot of people think I do. I don't actually consume a lot of content. I produce content, but I don't actually consume.
It's a rabbit hole, man. It's probably smart.
It is. But no, so I do solar. I love that aspect. And just over the last year of kind of working on my craft, as you could call it, with content creation, really to bring something authentic to social media, which I try very hard to be super authentic online. And when people meet me, I feel like they know me.
Right.
And so other people,
I mean, you're an open book.
I'm very open, in so much that some people are like, you're too much online. I'm like, look,
scroll on past.
Yeah, well, it's that, but here's my thing. I want somebody to be able to look back years from now at this moment in time, you know, after I've reached my version of success. I want them to be able to go back and see the transition, because I think that's cool, and no one does that.
That's great.
You know?
Yeah.
But in order to do that, you have to be truly authentic to actually represent what's going on at the time.
Yeah.
You know.
Go ahead. Not to interrupt, but I talked about that on my first episode with my mom. Actually, I had her on, and I had mentioned something. I was like, you know, it is so hard to be original. Subconsciously, we are, you know, we're motivated. We feed off of other things, and so when we go to produce something, every once in a while, you don't realize it, but you're going, oh, that is an awful lot like this. And I didn't mean to steal this idea or whatever, but it is, you know, it's a compliment technically, but it's tough to be unique at times and original. And I think you do it well. And I think at the end of the day, and I'll toot my own horn as well, because I think we're both like this. We don't really care what you think, like, in a sense that we care what you think about our business and who we are as, dads and that sort of thing. But as far as like our content and the way we act, we are who we are, right?
That's true.
So if you just be yourself, then you're going to be original. That's kind of where.
Absolutely. And that's what people are attracted to, like, because people secretly want to do it themselves. Some people are just scared. They're scared to be completely vulnerable with who they are without worrying about what people think. And some people have approached me and they're like, I want you to do that for me. I'm like, okay. And so kind of not transitioning away from solar, but just add another component on is me actually getting into content creation for other people, content management. Because look, at the end of the day, I want to help people. If I can stand behind a company, if I can help them grow, if I can actually connect with them, and now people are seeing that I'm aligned with this other company. Like I have some people that just like companies for the fact that they know that I'm managing them, like, which is good, I guess. But yeah, it's like, oh, Thaddeus likes them. Okay, cool. Then I mess with them, and I've literally had people say that.
It must be cool.
Yeah, it's like because I like Thaddeus, so I'm gonna like this company. But it's just another opportunity. I'm where I am now, undisclosed location. This is going to be a full-on professional podcast studio. And I'm going to be doing some work here to produce podcasts. And this is going to be a space people can rent out. So it's going to be super cool. Just different avenues. And I'm kind of a promoter. So I've been promoting things and whatnot.
Jack of all trades. I love that.
Yeah.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
I would like to promote some restaurants, though. That would be good. If I can promote some restaurants, then I can just go eat there. Fantastic.
And I will listen because I would love to know some good restaurants in our area because no offense to anybody, but they're limited. But again, I don't venture out that much to be fair. So I know there's some and I always want to support local. So I love mom and pop spots. But all right. Cool. So Solar Avenger, obviously he's your guy for solar. That's a no-brainer. Sounds like you can also, if anybody's interested, reach out to you if you need some help with content creation and management. Absolutely. And then apparently at some point, and who knows what you're going to do, you're starting a podcast, helping people with podcasts, managing podcasts. I don't know, but it sounds awesome. Like and what's cool about it is that you're just growing, man, and you're touching as many things as possible, but it's all going to be that same you. So I think more power to you, man. Keep doing it. It's awesome.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, we just have to live a life of impact. And the more impact we have, the more we can leave behind. You got to live your legacy, not just leave it. So that's what I always say. Live your legacy, don't just leave it. So, yeah.
I love that. Well, that's a perfect way to end this. But I'm not going to yet, so no, I'm just playing. No, man, I really appreciate you taking some time and just chatting with me. You were nice enough to interview me a few months ago in the shop here. Yeah. It was great, and so I immediately thought of you. So for all of you that are listening, it's a little bit different than the normal. We're going to talk about the future of the sewing industry, but I also think it's super important for you guys in the sewing industry to hear what other people know, think, about our industry and also what's going on with their industry, because there is a way for all of these industries and basically just for people to support each other. And you do that really well here locally, but also you're branching out as well. So keep doing that. I'm going to do my best to do the same. And I think together, solar and sewing are going to take over the world, man.
There you go.
Sew Rogan and a Solar Avenger.
That's a match made in heaven. Got it.
All right. So, man, I appreciate it. Now we're going to end it.
All right. Thank you, brother.
I appreciate you, man. Later.